Which conspiracy theory do you believe is true? The line on the laundry detergent measuring cup is higher than it needs to be. David Kelly didn't kill himself. Now, for those who are too young to remember, shortly after 9/11, the US and the UK decided to invade Iraq. The rationale was that Iraq had weapons of mass destruction. WMDs, even though the UN's chief weapons inspector wasn't convinced. A prominent UK weapons expert, one David Kelly, leaked to a journalist that he believed the report alleging WMDs was sexed up in order to give an excuse to go to war, and repeated his claims in front of a parliamentary committee. In so doing, he massively embarrassed the government because he was essentially accusing them of fabricating evidence to give them an excuse to go to a war they'd already decided to fight. 2 days later, Kelly took a huge dose of co-proximol and slit his wrist, severing his ulnar artery, on a walk in the woods near his home. The original nuclear tests in the US Southwest were done to also test the effects of radiation on human populations. That Coca-Cola came out with new Coke in order to change the original formula to corn syrup from real sugar without people complaining about the subtle difference. Michael Jordan's 2-year stint in baseball was actually a 2-year NBA ban for gambling on games. That most if not all countries have done experiments on humans against their will. Based on shit I've seen in here. Monopolies, at least in the US, are only illegal on paper. And the ones you hear about getting stopped likely pissed someone off. Most of the votes on Reddit moving things to the top are from troll farms and corporations. Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated by the FBI. Before he even died, he was sent a threatening letter from the FBI that basically said, "Stop doing your doing or we'll expose your cheating to your wife." There had been another man called Raoul that James Earl Ray had met before, who he claimed was deeply involved in the case. He even asserted he didn't personally shoot King but may have been involved in the assassination unknowingly. Heck, even the King family doesn't believe that James Earl Ray killed King. There's still more other info online about this than I want to talk about, but honestly, from the point of view of the FBI at that time, it makes sense to kill King. He was becoming a big influence in the black community, and so to combat that, they could have easily killed him and set someone else up like Ray to take the fall. All the novels written by Dean Koontz are in fact written by a golden retriever. The man in all of the author pictures was hired because no one would take a dog novelist seriously. The first NBA draft lottery was rigged to give Patrick Ewing to the Knicks. On the video, the commissioner pulls an envelope out with a clearly bent corner and sighs a huge sigh of relief when he reads what's inside. I think they have cloned humans. I genuinely think the FBI and the Kennedys had Marilyn Monroe killed. There's no way I'll ever believe that Pat Tillman's death was accidental friendly fire. Throwback Thursday was invented so that social media apps, mainly Facebook, could build and develop facial recognition technology showing the faces of people over time. Edit. A word. Edit too. There are a lot of people replying who don't understand a huge percentage of Facebook users these days are your parents, uncles, aunts and grandparents who have, literally, decades worth of printed photos sitting in shoeboxes that would never see the light of day again if not for schemes like these. TBT is not for you 20 to 30 somethings who are simply reposting a photo you took in college 10 years ago. Governments spread wild and crazy conspiracy theories to discredit conspiracy theorists and make them look like lunatics. That way, when someone actually finds a real conspiracy, people will just go, "Oh, it's one of those crazy guys." That every few weeks this question is posted by them to check if we've discovered them yet. Click on the emoji. I feel like the round earth theory is true. I don't know if I buy my own conspiracy theory, and I'm not entirely sure what exactly the conspiracy is, but I'll repost the same thing I always post when this question is asked. Follow-up notes. 1. Yes, I understand that plenty of non-Vietnamese folks can rip an apple in half. Hell, I can do it too. That doesn't make the Vietnamese fruit claims that I've experienced less peculiar. 2. Yes, I know that British comedian Bob Mortimer can do this. 3. By my rough estimate from past comments in previous threads, for every Vietnamese person claiming that they've never heard of this, there's another Vietnamese person claiming that all Vietnamese people can rip apples, and yet another non-Vietnamese person who asks a coworker or an in-law or a friend and learns that they can rip apples. Of that last group, it seems like about half of the Vietnamese people asked add, "Oh yeah, All Vietnamese people can do that. 4. Let me address all Vietnamese people for a second. If a bunch of people give you free apples to test this, and you like apples, enjoy. If you get a bunch of annoying fruit inquiries that you don't want to deal with, I'm sorry. But really, is it my fault for accurately reporting my experiences with Vietnamese folks? Apple ripping. And Vietnamese folks. Claims about apple ripping? Or should you really be annoyed at all of my past Vietnamese acquaintances who have made these claims? Anyway, at least hopefully this is more fun for you to talk about than the war. Original comment here. https www.reddit.com videos comments 5jjazg on _wood _I _lie _to _you _bob _mortimer claims _he _ken dbgvu9d. First repost here. https www.reddit.com AskReddit comments 736 what conspiracy theory do you 100 by into and y dt1vg6j. The phrase conspiracy theory has been purposefully warped to mean something farcical and crazy to discredit people who call out criminal conspiracies. Sony had Michael Jackson killed so that they could secure the rights to the Beatles' discography. I've always thought that competition reality shows purposefully send someone home each season that deserves to stay. So that people get mad and talk about it online and get other people interested in watching the show. It came to mind that women's makeup is actually secretly damaging their skin, so when they see it, they'd be convinced to buy more makeup. Edit. This blew up. Now my highest upvoted comment is about women's beauty products being a scam. Thank you all. That Dan Schneider, or however you spell it, is a real creep and child predator and should have never worked for Nickelodeon. Pedophile rings in high places of power. Government, Hollywood, church. Paul Pierce pooped his pants in an NBA game and pretended he hurt his ankle to get a wheelchair off court. That hot dog manufacturers have a secret agreement with the bun companies to produce different amounts of each product. I don't know the numbers exactly. But for example, you need dogs for a cookout, so you buy some. And the only available package size is 8 hot dogs. Then, you go and get some buns which only come in packs of 12. Therefore, once you cook your 8 hot dogs, you still have leftover buns, which means you will buy more hot dogs to use those buns, and you will then have to buy more buns to use those hot dogs that were bought to finish the original buns. The cycle continues. That Corey Feldman is right, and there is a casting couch for kids in Hollywood to get roles, and parents are too blinded by the thought of stardom that they turned a blind eye in the past. I really hope it isn't true. But that Harvey Weinstein and the movie Bombshell make me fearful that scum is everywhere in that town. I'm tempted to believe the one about Michael Jordan's first retirement being a secret suspension for betting on games. Plenty of conspiracy theories are largely accepted to be true, as a matter of historical record. E.g., Nixon and LBJ conspired to prolong the Vietnam War to help Nixon's 1972 election campaign. Google, Facebook, etc. conspired with NSA to share data. PRISM program. NSA conspired to infiltrate bodies like NIST and weaken encryption standards. Bull Run program. CIA used whorehouses to kidnap people and drug them with LSD to experiment with behavior control. MK Ultra, Tuskegee syphilis conspiracy, etc., etc. There are only 42 questions ever asked on this sub, and they are randomly posted by a bot. I think the bot needs work though. This one was just asked 2 days ago. Selling ridiculously expensive paintings as a way of money laundering. Mo Shellac secretly knows the Simpsons children are prank calling him, but is playing along with them because he enjoys hearing them laugh. Edit. Holy shit, this blew up. Thanks everyone. Yeah. This been a fan theory for a while among the Simpson fan community. The FBI killed MLK. Government keep asking people on about the conspiracies they believe in so that they can do better job at hiding it. Wait a minute. Stevie Wonder can see. Mattress firm as a front for folks to launder money through. The amount of them in my town is absurd. There's like 3 within a mile stretch. 2 of them are across the street from each other. I am not buying it. Just like people aren't regularly buying mattresses. That this thread pops up whenever there is a massive conspiracy currently underway and they want a barometer on how close people are to the truth. JFK was only wounded by LHO's bullet. He was actually killed by a Secret Service agent's bullet accidentally. Which is why there was such an obvious cover-up. LHO's bullet was a full metal jacket bullet which hit JFK in the throat before ricocheting into Governor Connally. The bullet which blew up half of JFK's head was almost certainly a hollow point bullet. Instead of continuing its trajectory like a FMJ would. The hollow point expands after the first object that it hits, which was JFK's head. There was one known weapon in play which was using hollow point bullets that day. It was a submachine gun which did not have the safety on and was operated by George Hickey. In the melee after LHO's shots were fired. The theory is that Hickey accidentally discharged his weapon and killed the president. The Secret Service could never let anyone know that they had accidentally killed the president, hence their behavior in the aftermath. Our phones are listening to us.